Ridiculous.
Number two. Number
One,
two.
one,
Number
one,
two.
one,
I think you're
one.
obsessed with number twos, Joe.
Yes.
It was one. No, that was number one. That wasn't two.
Welcome back to another exciting edition of Rake Your Position, where four lifelong friends are watching opening day baseball finally. I'm your host.
Did you have to say your name?
Yeah, you did just say I'm the host.
I said I'm here in the host.
You just said I'm the host.
He did.
Rewind it. Go back after you start this and watch it, because I'm Aaron the host, and I said that.
Yeah, watch it all the way through first, though. Probably be bad
Yeah,
enough.
make sure. I might say something.
I'm Joe the groundskeeper. I want to give a quick shout out to Ben, Blake, Grayson, Braden, Eben, Connor, James, Hud, Egan. I think I said Keaton already, right? Who did I miss?
I don't know, man. I don't even know who you're naming. I'm assuming this is your team.
Yeah, maybe did I say Keaton?
No, you
Keaton,
didn't.
Keegan. All right, there's Keaton and a Keegan. I think I got all 10. Anyway,
Lots of B's too.
I'm gonna try to stay positive, at least for tonight, during this session, so I can be a good influence. But baseball's
And their
back.
names- Sorry.
Baseball's back.
Their names
High-
are probably
high hopes and low
Joe,
expectations.
Scott, Bob, Fred. We apologize in advance for your coach, guys. Sorry you
Yeah.
haven't.
That was a very long introduction.
Hey, at
I'm
least-
Jay Lee the Rover.
At least none of them are Cubs fans.
I'm Corey the Stat Man. Let's get
Yet.
down to business.
Alrighty, so we had one more transaction come off the board since our last recording. I'll kick it to Jared. He knows this guy pretty well. So Jordan Montgomery.
Personally,
I know him personally.
Yeah, he's sleeping on your cot.
That- I hope not, because I think he's going to be pitching here in a few days, probably. Yeah, dude. It's been so long since he signed. I'm gonna be a really bad baseball person here. It's Arizona, correct?
Correct.
Woo! I would
1 year,
look real dumb.
25 with a very low vesting option. What was it? 10 starts. He gets 20 more million next year.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's just kind of cool that all the Boris people that went out there to try to get these big deals didn't. But I do like where he went. I think to Aaron and Corey's feud a few weeks ago of options of who's got the better rotation. I mean, I think this helps Arizona, but I still
the feud
think I'm on-
continues.
I think I'm on Team Corey still, but I do think this helps Arizona. So, and again, 1 year, like Joe's favorite saying, what is it, Joe?
No bad 1 year deals.
Yep, there we go. So I think it's good for both parties. Maybe these people that sign these deals can ball out and head to free agency and get another contract.
It's wild, the contracts that these guys got, and then you look at guys like Xander Bogaerts, and it seemed like he got. He's a great baseball player. He's now playing second base for the Padres. He's a better baseball player than I thought he was. Looking at his stats that I just
He's
pulled
really
up now,
good.
so
Yeah.
he is very good at baseball. I do think he got his deal probably like right at the right time, where it seems like I think if he was a free agent now this year or the year before this, it maybe wouldn't have been so lucrative for him. And I don't know if maybe it was like because that's the class of shortstops where you had Dansby and Xander and Correa, Seager, I think too, or is that a different one? I don't know.
No, it was Trey Turner.
Trey Turner, yeah, and like all those guys got their bag. But yeah, it's wild that Snell and Montgomery have maybe 2 year deals. Considering like all the money that has historically been thrown around to players of similar caliber. And then this year it just didn't happen. And I think the thing we heard about a lot was that all the teams like are using the same kind of projections and I don't know if I would call it software, but they're all looking at the same numbers where previously maybe that wasn't the case. Which is not necessarily collusion, but let's say it's not collusion. It's just that everybody's looking at the same stuff now.
It's
Like there's
just
so many.
facts.
Yeah. So it's wild.
Yeah, we
Did
should
us-
have made a list of like what they wanted versus what they got, all those Boris clients, because
Mhm.
I bet Boris got less than 50% total of what he was expecting to get for all these guys.
Yeah, way
Yeah,
less.
now he can't buy a yacht that he was wanting to go with his other yacht.
Yeah.
Did Snell
Poor
have an
guy.
option on his as well?
His opt outs.
It's just basically the same as the player option if you only have a 2-year deal.
So his was a 2-year deal with an opt out after one.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to see who, what?
That's a
I'd
new
like to
player from
see
Korea.
like who's what's the last like long term? I know there's been some big money thrown at pitchers, but
Aaron Nola just got a 7-year deal.
yeah, I guess they're
Like
still throwing
170.
some 7, 8, 9, 10ers out there. But that's where I would be like, hold
Some
up,
Sopranos,
wait a minute.
They're not
Baritones.
going well, though. Like before that, like Patrick Corbin got a big deal. That's been bad. Strasburg got paid. That's been horrible.
Long term pitcher deals are so risky.
Yeah. So nice cup. I don't know if you meant to do that with the pose. That's a dad cup right there.
Oh yeah,
Is that what cup was that?
Paw Patrol.
What there's a baseball player,
Aaron Judge is going to
Aaron
be on
Judge.
Paw Patrol.
Yeah. Aaron Judge is going to be.
Nice. See, that's what playing for the Yankees gets you. Kid cartoons. It's great.
Yep.
Well, any final thoughts on that? I like it, obviously, because as you guys know by now, I had Arizona winning it, the West, that is, without him. So it helps sweeten the pot a little bit.
I mean, I've made my thoughts known on Jordan Montgomery ever since he came from the Yankees to the Cardinals. So,
And he's the last good pitcher the Cardinals have had. So
he has pitched good lately, but I don't see that continuing. Corey, what's his peripheral say?
They told him to look straight ahead, and then the optometrist held their hand over here, and they said, "Can you
Mhm.
see? Can you see?" And then they held it over here, and he could see that too. So his peripherals are good.
Good there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck in Arizona.
Boom.
there
Passed
you
the
go.
test. 25 mil.
Hey, one thing that I was wanting to start off with, I totally forgot, guys. Hey, this is our 50th episode.
We're getting tattoos.
Yeah! Except for Joe won't
No.
do it.
No, we're not.
I just
getting
got
that.
one recently if you want to. Never mind.
Hey, this is our 50th episode. It's a 1-year anniversary, 1-year birthday, whatever you want to call it. So thank you guys for putting up with us, Dad, and for letting us have fun doing all this stuff. But we just love talking baseball. So hopefully, year 2, we're already thinking of ways to reinvent the wheel a little bit and have some more fun.
We
But
are?
we're going to be here every week talking
Not
more
you, Corey.
baseball.
Everybody else.
Okay.
So keep hanging out with us this year, Breakers, and we're excited for a new year of baseball because today was opening day. So Joe, take us away with your opening day thoughts.
Oh, wowzers. Opening day
Uh-oh.
thoughts. Well, like I said, I'm going to be a positive Polly this year, I think. Probably not for very long.
Yeah, that won't last long.
So, yeah, well, I'm wearing birds on the bat. So, sorry, all of our international listeners. I talk about the Cardinals a lot. First batter of the game, lead off walk. I mean, just shut the game off. It's over. And you are playing a team that spent $1.5 billion in the offseason. So, and you're pitching Miles Michaelis. So, Cardinals lost. It is what it is. Long season, 161 games left. Oh God. Some things that popped out with me trying to follow along. Corbin Burns, good game first with the Orioles, high expectations there. Um, every every team with a $200 million payroll won, except for the team that lost to the team with a $300 million payroll. Um, Texas and Chicago are tied right now, so that could change that up a little bit. But so opening day, it was fun. A lot of day games, so got to watch some baseball before the pod started tonight. What did you guys see?
I haven't watched any baseball yet, so I haven't seen any of it.
Wow.
I did see that Tariq Skubal went 6 innings, no runs, and Jake Berger went 3 for 4, which is just,
And a
maybe one
sac
of us at
fly.
least knows at least one of us knows what we're talking about. But opening day is great. Every year I write my congressman, I don't get a response about trying to make it a federal holiday. I'm not sure why they don't give me a little bit more respect than that. Um, but every team's got a chance. You woke up this morning, every team's 0-0, except maybe the Athletics. Every other team has a chance. Not to be mean, but they're a bad team.
That sounded
It's
mean.
lovely. Well, try
Truth
to put a
hurts.
team together. Yeah.
Truth hurts.
Jared, what do you got for us? Opening day thoughts. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, it's so bad. You don't even want to say it out loud.
No, sorry. Was gonna. The only thing I was saying is like I was trying to think of something to say after Corey just laid the groundwork for the Athletics there. I mean, come on, Corey. They're still a professional baseball team too.
Yeah, they're better than you, Corey.
I could take a walk from Joe Boyle, though.
He wouldn't walk you.
You'd
He'd
still
be the only
strike
person
out.
he'd strike out. Yeah. But no, real quick. I mean, I think I like what Joe said about Corbin Burns coming out hot. Um, that team does look like it's gonna be super fun already. I caught the end of the Yankees Astros game, which is exciting. Soto throwing out that guy at the plate. Um, so that's good there. And then Otani not knowing how to run the bases. That was big. I don't know if you saw that, Joe.
I did, yeah. I mean,
So you're gonna pay that guy $700 million and can't even
Cost him
run
the
the
game,
bases.
huh?
Ridiculous.
close.
Yeah.
I didn't see what
Um,
happened.
I mean, it was just a double, and they sent Mookie home, and they thought
Oh,
they sent Mookie home, and he was going to third,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
didn't. So, well, not big deal, but yeah, no, I mean, you always love opening day. Unfortunately, I think I didn't have the biggest expectations for the Cardinals going into day one, especially like this Joe said when you have Michaels on the mound. So, uh, I mean, he was throwing strikes, but to Joe's point, he was not putting them right where the bats were coming across the plate. So not throwing strikes where he should have been throwing strikes, essentially. And then I don't know if it's good. Every relief pitcher you bring in at least gives up a run. Is that good or bad? Like you don't want to give up runs, right? That's the point of the game.
I believe so, yes.
Oh,
Also check the stats on that, though.
then we'll have to look
I was
elsewhere.
telling Aaron, I think before y'all got on, the Baltimore and LA Angels game was on at the same time, and Trout hits a first inning homer, and then Sandoval gives up, I think, 5 in the first 2 innings. That guy's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Or Trout.
can't
Yeah.
do anymore.
So, what about you, Aaron? Did you watch any today?
I ended up watching the Pirates Marlins. A lot of young guys on the field since the Braves opening day is tomorrow now. Yeah, it's always fun to see the season. Everybody's got hope and expectations. I think a lot of teams that we expected look good right off the bat. I did see an article today where, on average, 50% of the playoff teams did not make the playoffs the previous year, going back to when they added the wild card, 2012. So in the last 12 years, every year on average, half the playoff teams weren't in the playoffs the year before. And there's always a couple of teams that were under 500 the previous year. And so last year, I think there were 4 or 5 teams that made the playoffs that had losing records in 2022. Diamondbacks being one, and they made the World Series. So when we've been talking about what to look for this season and our predictions and stuff. We had some crazy predictions, but if you look at the scope of the league right now, there might be like 4 teams that have zero expectations to even sniff the wild card. And I think the other teams all think, hey, we got a shot to get to 500 and maybe get in that third wild card race. But I mean, the Athletics, the Rockies, the Nationals, and probably the White Sox. I think everybody else like thinks that they have a decent shot at getting in going into the year, which is fun. That's what makes opening day so fun. Is everybody's got sky high expectations, or at least off the ground expectations for the most part.
Everybody is tied for first.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it'll be interesting to see. Like, I know we had some Tigers and Royals and Pirates in our predictions. Cardinals, like the Cardinals, we could easily see them going from last to playoffs from last year to this year. So it'll be fun. The other thing I was excited to watch, which I don't get to watch the Cubs game because I don't have the channel, but to see Langford and Carter. So your World Series champs are relying heavily on 2 Rookie of the Year candidates. And that hardly ever happens, that a Rookie of the Year comes from a defending World Series champion. But all accounts, it's both those guys are going to be at the top of the voting this year if they stay healthy and do what they always do. So that's kind of fun to watch. Any other thoughts, guys, before we move along?
Move along.
All right. So what are your other storylines that you're excited to watch for this year? Corey starts off with your storyline of the day.
Yeah, I was mostly just going to talk about how the young guys, like that's just something that I think I follow pretty closely. I think you do as well, Aaron. But seeing these rookies make an impact and how much they do. As far as I can tell, there hasn't been anybody today that's really kind of jumped out and done anything crazy. I did see Victor Scott and Mason Wynn both went 0 for 3.
Victor got a steal.
That's true.
Yeah,
Pretty easily. He's going to
Neither
have
of
to do
them-
that.
But I think that just goes all around the league. And then I think something that we touched on today, and he's been saying all of the right things this offseason, but what happens with Mike Trout? Because it is kind of a travesty that he is playing for the Angels and I guess maybe will be for the foreseeable future. I mean, like they've got it's a pitching thing. I don't know what they're doing with the pitching, and maybe it'll be good. They've got a decent amount of young talent, position player wise, and they have a pretty strong history of drafting basically MLB ready players right out of their drafts. I think as far as like youngest players to play from a draft, the past like 2 or 3 have been from the Angels. But I just, I'd love it would be a great story if he sticks around and like they end up winning it with him. But what has happened previously and like from now moving forward just seems like it's miserable and it's not fun as a fan to see this guy on this team anymore. So I don't think anything's going to happen, but it is something that I want to see happen. And I think we're all off the Angels bandwagon of hoping they do well this year. We were really riding that pretty hard last year, but I think we all got off at the last stop last year.
Let's all talk about Trout just a little bit. I like that. He said this offseason, he did say finally that he wishes they would spend a little bit, which is surprising that he said anything. But I think you're right. Like, if they could flip Trout for a bevy of prospects, like if they get like a Soto-esque return in pitching, like they still have decent position players. Like, that'd definitely make them better. And it's just sad. He's made the playoffs once, right?
I think
He's
so.
played 3 games. Is that correct? They didn't win. So
I
yeah,
believe so.
it's just amazing that his career obviously isn't what it used to be because he's having a harder time staying healthy. But I still think any contender in the right mind with an open outfield spot should take him because he could play any 3 outfield spots. He doesn't have to be in center. So that's sad.
Trying to think of what teams. I mean, like the Cubs have a lot of good young pitching prospects, but they don't need an outfielder.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what team would match up there, but
I mean, it'd be fun to see him go to Boston or Philly, 2 passionate fan bases close to where he's from.
I don't think those teams don't have unless I don't know what's going on with Andrew Painter these days,
Mhm.
but that could be a piece
They
if he
don't need
is
him.
healthy.
Yeah, they don't need
Yeah,
him. They got Nola and Wheeler locked up and Suarez.
maybe that would be fun. And he's playing with Arbor. Pretty
Hmm.
sweet.
Hmm. You guys got any thoughts on Trout as we look to 2024 again? Because I think all of us kind of selfishly picked the Angels to sneak in the playoffs last year, if I'm right. Like we're all
Yeah.
like rooting for them.
We did.
We all wanted them to, for sure.
Yeah, but this year we didn't. None of us picked them at all. So
Yeah, no, I don't think I have much more than what you guys have said about Trout. I think it's just a travesty. Not good for the game, but would like to see him go elsewhere. But you gotta take your hat off to him for his loyalty to that organization. You don't see that too often.
mhm.
Yeah, I try to compare it to maybe another sport where an all-time, I mean, I think you can, maybe not quite, but you can almost say he's an all-time great. He's got to have 10 years in the league now. And you think of those guys who never got a championship, but it's hard to think of guys who like never even got a playoff.
Yeah, like
Numerous
Marino
series.
never won, but they were contenders
Mhm.
a lot
I
of
mean,
time.
yeah, they had to be in the
Trout's just
playoff.
not even a contender.
Barry Sanders, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
they
good
made
one.
the playoffs once or twice
Yeah.
where they fell apart. But yeah,
Yeah,
they were never contenders.
you hope it's not a case like that.
And it's
Maybe
weird to say. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say maybe he should change his last name to like Super Blue Marlin or Great White or something. Another fish, not a weak little trout that gets eaten.
Orca. Um,
Mike
it's weird to
Orca.
think
Yep.
that
There we go.
we think maybe they need a new owner. Like Moreno has okayed tons of spending in the past.
It's not
Just
good spending.
none of those have ever worked out. Like it's got to be the worst track record of large contracts ever by a single owner. Um,
A different
so
GM though.
yeah, different GM every time, but it still always backfires. So like Moreno does greenlight big deals when he thinks it's the right thing to do. But there has been a lot of talk the last couple of years if he's selling or not. So it doesn't seem like they've been very aggressive the last few years. But then you see like Baltimore where like the sale is officially done as of yesterday with these new billionaires coming in that are diehard fans. And it's just high sky hopes and expectations now. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe a new owner would make sense out there and Trout could stay. But something's got to change. Yeah, Trout debuted in 2011.
Yeah.
So 13th season now. And he hasn't played 150 games since 2016.
Yeah, I think we all hope he
Yep.
can stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean he's still plenty good when he plays.
His bat's as fast as it ever is.
Yeah, without Shohei there, I'm sure he'll get a lot more DH at bats too because he's been stuck in the field. So Shohei can bat. So go Mike Trout,
Crazy.
boo Angels so they can trade him.
Okay.
Any other storylines? Jared, you got a storyline for us to watch?
I think it's one that we're all just kind of waiting for it to see how it unravels because I think we're all smart enough to know that there's more to it than this, but it's just the Otani scandal is what I'll call it. Manfred came out and said today that he expected to be like a short time period or whatever, but I don't know. Also, I'll tell you guys is like I think we're all four of us here are pretty close. None of y'all would ever have access to my bank account.
I
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
so
because
I think
we are
there's
close.
too close if that's the case, but something's going on that I don't know. And I don't, it's gonna suck if we're protecting this just because we just paid this guy $700 million and he's good for baseball. I mean, if he actually is guilty, like I think we just gotta unfortunately do it, but I don't think that's what's gonna happen. So waiting to see what happens there. And then I think my other just one that's at the top of my list since being a Cardinals fan is just seeing if this season's going to be any different. I think the offseason was very, um, Joe, what word am I thinking of here?
Man,
Worse than meh. So I think, what do we look like at the All-Star break? Are we going to offload if we're not in a spot of contending like Goldie's on an extension period? Are we going to offload him? Are we going to get rid of Arenado? Depending on where we're at, because I mean, we do have some young guys who I think if you not the Cardinal way of not giving them the playing time and being like, oh, they suck, send them back to the minors. Um, like I know Joe came out and said I think he's going to hit maybe 200, but I like Victor Scott being in center field. I think it just brings another type of energy that hopefully this team needs. Like I like Mason Wynn. He may not be the answer, but he is electric and he's fun to watch. Jordan Walker, obviously, I think an up and coming potential star there, and Gorman, if he can figure out his swing and misses, I mean, he's a solid left-handed bat in the middle of that lineup. The pitching staff is just god awful, so I don't think there's much that's going to happen there. But I just think seeing exactly what route the Cardinals will go, like, is it going to be the typical Cardinals, like, oh no, we'll figure it out because we're the Cardinals, or we actually going to do the smart thing, and if we're not in it, offload and rebuild and not keep telling the fans that, oh well we're gonna make it. We're gonna believe in it, and then just see what happens there. So those are probably my two biggest ones. Headlines just going into the season. Um,
To add
we'll see
to
what
that
happens.
Cardinal storyline a little bit, one thing I think will be interesting to keep an eye on is how Mike Schilt does out in San Diego
I know, man.
because he's inheriting kind of a mess, but they still got a good roster. Because the Cardinals roster is still good. It's got some star power to it. But obviously San Diego has a better rotation by far.
Sure.
But San Diego vastly underachieved last year, made the manager change to go with Schilt. And I think all of us would agree that Schilt should still be in St. Louis anyway. He never should have gotten fired.
Correct.
So that'll be interesting. The Padres have a better
Excited to see
year
that too.
than the Cardinals. Joe, what do you got for storylines?
yeah, I had a couple things written down. I'll echo the Otani thing, not to beat that into the ground, but if
Otani, 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 Otani.
Otani, oh,
Utini.
Gooni's playing whack-a-mole.
I'm beating it to the ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully that is like resolved quickly. If there's anything incriminating, I think it'll come to light. It's hard to hide things nowadays, but we'll see what happens there. To echo a little bit of what Corey said, I think it was Sebastian Bach who said, they call us problem child. We spend our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. This is a Skid Row song called Youth Gone Wild. So a lot of young guys on our teams that we like. A lot of young guys in the NL Central. Hope they all fail miserably. And just across the
Good
league,
influence.
I've always been super high on this guy from Pittsburgh, Paul Skenes, Jackson Holiday. You got those big names with the big talent. We'll see what they do there. Another couple more things I had written down. It seems like there's more Asian players that came over this year, at least big name Asian players. So let's see what they do. I know Yamamoto got, what do you go, 1 inning in his first start? All right, welcome. Yes, Corey?
You mentioned a lot about big name players, and can you mention maybe some small name players? What would that entail?
Yeah, Tink Hintz.
Sure, that's
pitcher
pretty
for the
small.
Cardinals. I think he goes by TH.
Nailed it.
So,
Next question. Nailed it.
I'd like to see if somebody can get 60 bombskis this year. You know, we all like a good see you later dinger. And mostly probably because I have almost their entire staff on my fantasy team, the Seattle pitching.
Yeah, you have to root for them.
If you talk about like top 3, top 5 rotations, I think they're in most people's list. See if that actually plays through or not. Yep. That was my list. Who's your
I just want to.
if you had to pick, let's go around here real quick. Go wait, Jay Lee, till I do this.
I just want to. No,
Okay, go.
You're going where I'm going. You're
Go
going where
ahead.
I'm going.
I'm no, going. You go.
You me. Okay, I'm going. Just to backtrack on the Otani thing one last time. You talked about if there's incriminating evidence that it'll come to light. All I'm saying is the Astros cheated blatantly, and they got a slap on the wrist. So that's
And there
what I'm
was
saying.
incriminating evidence that stayed in the dark.
That's what I'm saying. So
Well, not forever.
Before Joe goes to the next thing, I want to piggyback on your piggyback. So what do you call a double piggyback? A
back's
dead
getting
man.
heavy.
A diggy back.
I just think it's hilarious that like when any of these talk shows, sports things are talking about Otani betting and how it's bad, they're surrounded by DraftKings and duels and the betting line going across the bottom. And
This podcast brought to you by DraftKings.
yeah, the first commercial after they just talk about how bad this is DraftKings betting. Or the one that popped up yesterday, I was watching
ESPN Bet.
and it was Jamie Foxx's MGM betting thing. And he throws a baseball. Like baseball is marketing betting to make money. And so
But it's bad.
yeah, it's bad because it's illegal in California, and that's where it happened. So this will be very interesting. So Joe, what were you going to challenge us with?
I was just
little
going to
trivia
challenge.
question coming.
Yeah, I was going to challenge y'all and the listeners to say who you think would who could get to 60 homers this year.
Yeah. So what are the betting odds on that? Do you know what the betting odds for the
We're in Illinois. We can do this.
60 home run line
If
is?
you're watching this in California, skip forward ahead 5 minutes.
Yeah. It'll probably be at least 12.
You give me the betting odds on your player.
I
I'll go first. I'll go with my MVP. I'll say Juan Soto.
I think Chris Bryant's going to figure out how to hit a home run in Coors, and he will hit 60 homers this year.
60.
Wow. I'm going with the guy
Gotta
that
play 60 games first.
I've been pushing for a couple of years now, and you guys always make fun of me. 2 years ago, I said Matt Olson would get 50, and he finally did it last year. So I'll go 60 for Matt Olson this year.
So
Get
he'll
more
go
comfortable.
Freddie Freeman. Oh,
Nah, Freddie doesn't hit that many homers. I mean, he hits them, but
Hit one today.
yeah. Well, that curveball, I hit that curveball out. Jeez. You said Soto. I was meant to bring this up with Trout
I
earlier.
mean, I guess I won't get my guy. My
sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
my goodness. You're probably gonna pick someone like
I'm
Aaron
looking at a bunch
Judge.
of names here, and I think he's in a contract year, so I'll say Pete Alonso. Let me guess, he's hurt.
No, he's probably gonna get traded, so that'd be interesting if he does well where he's at when he hits it. But I like that pick. Trout staying with his team, superstar, yada yada yada. Of course, he was willing to sign the extension. Soto's on his third team, and he's 25. And there's a good chance if the Yankees fall apart this year that he could be traded again at the deadline and be on his fourth team before he reaches free agency, which is just insane. Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
well, one of them was the Padres, and AJ Preller's a madman. So,
Right.
he's like Jared Dipoto and just trades to make trades. So
Yes, but still, it's just amazing that
Are you
this
saying?
generation's Ted Williams can't stay on a team for 3 years.
Are you
I
saying
just
that's
don't think-
his fault?
No, I don't think it's his fault unless he's a horrible teammate, which I have no idea.
doesn't seem
Padres
like
locker
this.
room was a mess last year, but I'm not saying that's his fault.
You're
saying
not
I don't
saying
think
it's
the
his
Yankees
fault.
trade him at all. I think they're gonna try to figure out how to sign him forever.
I just don't think they can. They need to invest in pitching. Like they can't just keep
Care about
signing
that.
these all-star outfielders to mega deals and run
You mean
Joe
invest in
Schmo
all
out.
of the young pitching they just traded away for Juan Soto?
I'm saying they're going to have to go out and pay Garrett Cole when he opts out. They're going to have to go out and pay Corbin Burns after he wins the Cy Young. That's what they need. So just interesting. Completely different start to their careers. Trout's sticking around through thick and thin. Signed the big deal. Like if Soto was willing to sign a deal, then yeah, it's kind of his fault. The Nationals offered him a long extension. He said no. Padres offered him an extension. He said no. So it's kind of on him. And
Do
I
you
think the
have
Yankees will
anything?
offer him some. My one storyline is kind of a homer pick.
Oh,
If
Oh,
I
here we
shocker.
said
go.
you talk about Cardinals, you don't know who I'm talking about.
Cardinals suck. I have to talk about them.
Michael
If
Harris.
no, if I said I got a 26-year-old
Oh,
pitcher
great.
with
Bryce Elder.
a 3.32 career ERA, who was in the Rookie of the Year and Cy Young in his debut. He was an All-Star, sixth in Cy Young, second in Rookie of the Year as a 21-year-old. So that's Mike Soroka. I'm intrigued to see how Mike Soroka bounces back this year. He was in that plethora of people that the Braves were kind of going to have to cut this year because of lack of options. And so he got shipped to the White Sox, and the Braves brought in flame-throwing Aaron Bummer to the pen. Because Soroka looked rough last year. When he came back, he made a handful of starts. In his first, I had it pulled up here, in his first like 200 career innings, he'd given up 15 homers. Last year, in 30 innings, he gave up 9 homers. So like he just didn't look like Mike Soroka. It was bad. He was all over the place. Just as many walks and strikeouts. But this spring, now it is spring stats, I get you. He made the White Sox rotation. He's going to be starting Saturday against Detroit. This
That was
I
spring,
don't think would be tough.
and yeah, exactly. It's a good place for him. 4 starts this spring. He had 17 strikeouts and only 5 walks with a .9 WHIP. So all of a sudden, it looks like his arm is caught up now that he's able to do a normal offseason. His legs are healthy, and he's still only 26. And so this is a dude that, so can he get back into that Cy Young form after missing 2 full years with multiple Achilles injuries? So just a young guy that's just not hitting his prime that I'm excited to see. And he can make a lot of difference in that Central. The White Sox will still be last, I think, obviously, but it's a good place for him just to go no pressure and put together a solid season. So go Mike Soroka, eh?
I always liked Soroka. Hope he does well. Unfortunate injuries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's
hope
not
his legs
arm
don't explode.
injuries. Yeah, it's not arm injuries. So you're not worried about that. It's just he did change the mechanics to try to adjust how he was using his legs. And that was the Braves fear, I think, last year they talked
He doesn't
about
use
a
his
lot.
legs at all. Just all arm.
His arm comes in a different spot so that his legs are used differently. He just looked different last year. So I haven't seen him this spring if he went back to his old delivery or if he finally figured out how to use the new delivery. But it's not an arm injury, so shouldn't be too scared. But it'll be interesting. So that's my storyline. Mike Soroka.
That just made me think of something. That's how I work. I don't think at all, and then something comes to my mind. So we got the wind up, we got the stretch. That's been in play for what, 150 years? I wonder how much work has been put into what else can we develop from a pitcher on the mound perspective. I ain't got nothing. I ain't saying I got anything. I'm just saying sometimes you just do things because that's the way it's always been done, and maybe think outside the box. So listeners and maybe you all here, think of anything that could help a pitcher throw harder, be safer, throw
Or
more
softer.
or hey, if it's soft and it moves, it's 92 inches. Maybe it'll be good. But
Oopsie.
next topic.
There it is.
Hey, speaking of light tossers, Jesse Chavez, too, made the Braves bullpen. He gets cut by the White Sox. The Braves pick him up a day later and put him on the opening day roster. I love that guy. He throws like 90, throws strikes, gets everybody out, and just always has a place in the Braves bullpen. This is the fifth time the Braves have signed him over his
It's
career.
funny. Throws 90, and we're like, yeah, it doesn't throw that hard.
Yeah.
Just 90.
But it works. Like sometimes you need to change it up by throwing soft. All right, so we've got a fun challenge I sent out to the fellas today in honor of our 1 year birthday / anniversary / new season. I thought we'd have a fun time looking back at the previous year and make awards for one another. So this is our first and maybe last, but we'll see, annual Rake's award night.
Wow. Okay.
And we're going to go around and Joe, why don't you start us off?
Oh man.
I can go. Mine's probably the worst. I can go
All right,
first
we'll
if
go
you
with
want me to.
Corey. I don't think mine
All
are
right.
very good either, but I just didn't want to go
Well,
first. I want to see where the bar's set before
Yeah,
I
so
go.
I stuck with the super laxatives and I'm gonna do some most likely twos here. Um, I'll start with Aaron, and I think that this is lost on the listeners because it happens before the pod, but he is most likely to forget everything and anything that he possibly could for the pod. There have been times pre-pod where he has left his notes. He's left his microphone. He's left his whole computer places where whenever we're trying to record. And usually he pulls through, but it is kind of amazing the amount of things that Aaron forgets. So I
That's
just
true.
thought,
Can I defend myself?
no, I don't think you left a computer.
No defending.
Okay.
You just accept the award and move on. You
I
don't get to
accept
talk
it.
about
I
it,
fully
though.
accept it.
Play the music.
There's no speech. Yeah, if the music plays as
speech.
Corey's giving the award.
Yeah.
All right. I fully accept it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
There you
welcome.
go.
Jared, I think you're a real champ because you are just the most likely person to get interrupted. I think like there are so many times where you're just trying to say something or in the middle of saying something, and probably me just does not stop saying what I'm saying, or just butts right in. So I appreciate your kindness because you a lot of times don't get to say what you're trying to say, and I apologize for my part in that.
Thank you. I wanted to get
You're
that in
welcome.
real quick before I get interrupted.
Yeah. And then Joe, finally, last but not least,
Oh god.
I think it's kind of a twofer because you did just do it again right there where you are the most likely to break into song for sure, just in the middle of anything. If you hear a word that you can associate with a song, it will be sung in the background of the podcast while somebody else is again trying to say something, and then you're just singing a
I
song
love it.
behind. But
Makes it-
you know, which is not a bad thing, but it's just like you're in the middle of saying something and then you just like you suddenly start hearing you singing and you're just like, oh, he's just singing. I can continue what I'm saying. I don't really need to cede my time to him. Um, that's my super laxatives for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now give the rest of my time to whoever wants it.
All right, I'm going to jump in there so that they can forget what I said before it gets over. My first one goes to Corey. This is just a shot at you.
Thanks.
Very simple. Most likely to be wrong. Okay, moving on. Going to Joseph. Joseph, I got two for you. I had one ready for you, and then today happened. So I've got most likely to move to the South Pole. And if you're a big elf fan, you know who lives at the South Pole, Jared? Who lives at the South Pole?
I'm not a big elf fan, so I don't
Oh
know.
my goodness. Angry elves.
Swing and a miss.
Angry elves live at the South Pole. Joe is the most likely to be angry, and he's a little guy. And so Joe's the most likely to move to the South Pole. Or you could have most likely to already give up, whichever one you like, because opening day is over for you. So
Did you like that Nolan Arenado meme I sent? I thought that was
yeah.
That was good.
Joe said Cardinals eliminated into our chat at like 4 o'clock this afternoon. I don't think the game was over yet, was it? Just the first
No,
inning
it
happened.
was still going. Yeah.
And then Jared, if you guys take a look at this real quick.
Oh God.
How do I wait? Why are you so?
Because I don't even know what I can imagine. But we have
Most
to wait for me to
likely
get
to be inducted into Orioles Hall of Fame. Jared's always rocking his Baltimore gear, and just the beer today, just Nick Markakis all day. So
You
I
need to
think
trim your
twice now.
mustache, Jared.
Yeah, Jared's mustache is on
I'm
point.
trying to get it just right.
Yeah. So twice
You know-
in public, Nick, I just called him Nick. Jared has been mistaken for Nick Markakis on our baseball trips, and then a third time it happened at Busch Stadium. After the game, Jared is riding the public train back to his house, and people on the train thought he was Nick Markakis. And we're like, why would Nick Markakis be riding the train in
Just
St.
hanging
Louis?
out with the fans.
Yeah. So there you go. Pod listeners, if you're not on YouTube, go check out YouTube at whatever mark this is and see a side-by-side of Nick Markakis and Jared Lee.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not thanking you.
That's fine.
slight update on the last game for today. It's not the last game at all. Wow, there's some games in the first inning. Sorry, but Cubs Rangers in the ninth. The Rangers blew it by walking two guys and then throwing a wild pitch, and then the Rangers just tied it up with a homer in the bottom of the
The wild pitch was actually a foul
foul
tip
ball.
that the umpires didn't call, and the guy scored from second base on a foul ball that the umpires did not call a foul ball because Jonah Heim was arguing with the home plate umpire
Wow.
that it was a foul ball.
Is that Hernandez back there?
I don't know.
I just saw who hit the homer, too, of all the
Yeah.
people that hit the
Pinch
homer.
hitter Travis Jankowski.
It's Chad Fairchild, which he has had his issues over the last couple of years as well. It's a home plate umpire tonight.
Yeah, we need to devote some time to that. Some pod. You want me to go next?
Yeah, go for it.
Probably first I would give a blanket award to all three of you. I would give you the good friend award because I have this ability to it's kind
I
of weird.
don't accept.
I can exit my body and then like view situations from above. So as I would like view me being a friend, I'd be like, man, I would really doubt if I would be like in contact with that guy. So I appreciate you all not like
It's a tough job.
It is a tough job. So thank you.
I just had to move an hour away to get through it, but other than that, we're good.
Me and Corey had to move 2 hours away.
Corey, I would give you the I have a wedding award. What I mean by that is anytime we want to do something outside, look at a computer screen from our own home, you have something else to do. So you get
Maybe.
we have a guy at work the same way. He does nothing outside of work because he says he has a wedding. So you're the I have a wedding. Jay Lee, it's funny what Corey gave me because this is what I had for you. And it goes a little something like this. Scratch another back, scratch a back next to you. Scratch another back and sing this song. Scratch another back, scratch a back next to you. Scratch another back and sing along. What I mean by that is it's not doesn't super correlate to what I'm talking about, but that's your award. You always, not always, because sometimes I go way too off the rails for anybody to have my back, but normally, if I have a crazy idea or
I'm
something,
your guy.
you're on board with it. You're like, You're probably thinking maybe not, but
No, I'm always 100% in.
so I appreciate that. And then Aaron, I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling to come up with something here, not because I don't love you, it's because I just can't think of something. So
It's because you love him too much.
that may be the thing. Turtle.
Excuse me?
I'm
Is that
going.
Is that still a thing? Awkward turtle?
This is where I thrive. I got nothing, but I come up with something right on the spot, or you at least delay until your secondary mind comes up with something. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw it over to Jay Lee, and we'll come back for Aaron's award.
Okay, well, I'll start off with Aaron's award. Kind of the opposite of what Corey gave you. I gave you one that I think outside of the agenda that Corey puts together for us. I think you're the most behind the scenes person of like coming up with ideas for this podcast, setting up, the podcast where we had the coaches on, like doing that stuff of like setting up the things for us to try to bring to the table. So that's your award of just like I appreciate the link that you go to try to bring the fun to this podcast, and I think that's probably why we call you the host. And then moving on, I don't know where we're lined up on screen here, but
My heart just got.
What the heck?
Corey's popping the heart on my screen, Joe. That's right.
Yeah, mine too.
Jared, go
Okay.
up on my screen.
Backwards. This is pandemonium. People love
All right.
listening to this.
All right, Corey, you stay right where you're at. You don't make a heart at all. And then for Corey,
I have a wedding.
all right, perfect. Aaron, I'm glad you held up that mug. Keep that right there for a second. Corey, that's your award. You know why?
Poverty.
Because you have bought mugs for people, and we appreciate it. You may not have made money off of it, but hey, you're that guy that tried to get the merch out there, and we appreciate that. But I also gave you another award to go along with that, and it's called the Catchers Have Feelings Too Award. That you're not afraid to talk about the catchers, and it's a position that most people don't want to play or talk about, but you're going to be that guy that always brings it up and how much we appreciate them. So for that, Corey, we appreciate you as the catcher on this podcast. And then Joe, I actually gave us both. This is the same award I gave it to both of us. So kind of like what you said about scratching my back. I'm about to scratch both of ours right here. I gave us the Cal Ripken Award because me or you have never missed a podcast.
Touche.
So we got the streak going there. So I wanted to just give us that award and appreciate you guys. And I'll kick it over to Joe if you got one again. Or
I do, yeah, and it kind of sounds like I'm cheating off yours, but I was on this as you were saying yours. So I'm calling it the RuPaul Award for Aaron.
Well, this is getting edited out.
But I mean I Googled this. RuPaul has the most Emmys for outstanding host of a reality / TV series. So I'll echo the sentiment of usually keeping us on path, usually being the host that tries to hold down the fort. So good job. Good job.
Different Corey's talking.
Yeah. Wowzers.
Well, thank you guys. That was fun. We'll have to keep that as an annual tradition. That was fun. Hey, side note, I'm watching this Cubs Rangers thing right now on just like the game day box score. It has a player tracker, stadium tracker. Do you guys have that pulled up on your screen? Like it's got all the outfielders when the ball's hit, shows where the ball's going, but it's like little moving.
It's pretty wild.
Characters.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of Voodoo Football.
Yeah, very, very similar to like a old Nintendo style game. That's cool. But yeah, it's to the top of the 10th here. Cubs trying to rally. They're about to get their extra runner on second base to start the inning. So Joe loves that.
Wow. What a stupid rule.
Well, the Marlins Pirates game, what did it end up going? 13,
Look,
14?
12,
innings?
I think.
Did it go 12? Yeah, they
Yeah.
got it 12 now. Okay. So they kept messing up. Pirates got thrown out at home plate, I think, 9th and 10th innings before they finally won it. All right, guys. So the new season is starting. And so that brings us back to our favorite way to end the pod with Corey setting the stage for our weekend predictions. Who
Welcome
won
back.
last year? Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Remember?
Why would you ask me
you
that?
guys always put Houston Astros series in there, and I'm never gonna pick them. So
Aaron won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
guess
was
who's in there
second.
again, Jay Lee?
I saw.
So here's the thing. We're not counting today's games. We're just going to do Friday through Sunday games. There's a limited amount of teams that play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then within that, there's a limited amount of series that would be competitive for us to actually pick different teams. Who are they playing?
Braves Phillies opening weekend.
Well, I don't think they didn't. I don't think they played.
They didn't play today.
Is it a 4-game series? Was
No,
it a 4-game series though?
Braves Phillies and Philly got moved to start till tomorrow, and
Yeah.
Brewers at Mets got moved to start to tomorrow. So they're both
So
just 3 games.
I didn't know that when I put this together because they weren't supposed to play tomorrow.
Once
Anyway,
again, your word proves true.
I plan ahead. It's not my fault if things change, and I planned ahead.
Thank you, Corey.
And like nobody else.
They were canceled yesterday at about noon. So
I think I did this yesterday morning. So, or is the 20? Yeah, yesterday morning.
thank you for your hard work.
Anyway, oh yeah, it's really tough. Let's kick it off with the weekend predictions. 2024 clean
We
slate.
got a close one.
Everybody's 0-0. Opening day of weekend predictions. We are going to start off with the Cardinals at Dodgers. Again, discounting today. It does not count. I mean, it does count in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't count for weekend predictions. And boy, howdy, that Cardinals rotation
hilarious rotation
is bad.
What a joke.
So I'll take the Dodgers without further ado. Jared?
I'm an idiot. Give me the Cardinals.
That's Joe's job, is to be the idiot.
They're the same person though. They just full set.
That's true. Joe?
It's kind of like the X-Man. What's the one that she like touches somebody and steals their
Rogue?
power?
Rogue.
Yeah, stupid rogues. What was it, 1.6 billion or something, I think. Yeah, I'll go Dodgers.
Ooh.
I'll go Dodgers as well.
All righty. A little bit of surprise there in the first round. Moving on to the Giants at Padres. Jordan Hicks starting the second game for our weekend series, as we'll call it. I'm not loving really many of these guys, but I'll take the Padres because I think Dylan Cease is good.
Would
Like
you
to see
say
him show off?
you've lost your love and
Hello.
appeal?
Whoa.
Yeah. Jared, who would you like to pick?
Padres.
Joe?
I will. I mean, the fact that I have to look at Jordan Hicks being a starter. Didn't I pick Kyle Harrison as my rookie of the year?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go Padres.
I'm going Padres as well. Just because they're at home. I think these two teams are pretty even. I'll go Padres.
Moving on to the Pirates at Marlins, and you have likely Cy Young frontrunner AJ Puck pitching on Friday for the Marlins. So I'm going to take the Marlins because, I mean, they have a Cy Young frontrunner pitching in the series.
Okay, just because you keep saying it doesn't mean it's going to actually happen. But I'm actually also taking the Marlins because of Jake Burger. So
MVP candidate also.
and he's on my fantasy team.
Joe?
Sounds good.
I got Pirates down for this one.
Was sounds good Marlins is what you're saying?
Yeah, I'll verbalize Marlins.
Okay. What do you guys think about Mike Marlin for a name? Maybe he gets traded to the
Only if he
Marlins
gets
and he
traded
changes.
there.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I mean, line up on paper for sure. If you're talking young pitching.
It's true. Jared's favorite Yankees at Astros. I actually think I'll take the Yankees here. I like, even though their winning their win probability is lower. then I'm gonna go against Fangraphs here and go with the Yankees. I like Carlos Rodon. I like Marcus Stroman. Let's rock and roll with the Yankees.
Yep.
The Yankees. Wait, that's not me saying Yankees. Let me look here.
Who was it then?
Yeah, let's go. Oh, Houston. Let's go. Let's go Astros.
Astros for me as well.
All right, and then to round it out with the marquee matchup of the weekend, the Guardians at the Athletics. I've said all I have to say about the Athletics. I hope somebody takes them. I think if Joe Boyle were to be pitching this weekend, somebody might take them. But he's not. So I will take the Guardians by
Who do the
15.
Guardians have outside of Jose Ramirez?
Yep.
They've got Andres Jimenez.
Got the Naylor brothers.
Yeah, the Naylor brothers.
So nothing.
Give me Oakland.
Stephen Kwan. They cut Miles Straw finally.
Yeah, his $20 million he's still owed.
Yep.
I'm taking Oakland.
Well, since Jay Lee took him, that means I don't have to. So I'll go Cleveland by 15.
No, you can.
Like Corey said. No, you got him. I want you to bask in that glory when it happens. By
I
yourself.
have Oakland as well. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, Jared.
Never mind.
No, I'm changing to Cleveland.
Stripling Sears and Blackbird could do just fine against the Guardians. Like, that's one lineup the Oakland Athletics can actually shut down with their rotation.
I don't know. Foolish Baseball made a pretty good joke. He ranked top 50 players, and he had Jose Ramirez as like number 9 or something, and he was talking and he goes, Jose Ramirez had a very Jose Ramirez year last year. He hit 24 home runs and won Tim Anderson.
Nice.
Yeah.
But
His
that's all
delivery's better.
Yeah. I think Oakland's going to be fun to watch. I think they're going to annoy a lot of people. They're easily the worst team in their division, but they might be able to catch the Angels, actually. So, all right. Any final comments on our weekend predictions? Give us that recap real quick, Corey, before we close it out.
3 Dodgers to the 1 Cardinals, which is Jared. We all took the Padres. I'd be happy to switch the Giants if you don't want to sweep there, but I feel bad changing my answer after the fact. But anyway,
Nope.
3 Marlins to Aaron's 1 Pirates. Split on Yankees Astros and split on Guardians Athletics, which is definitely the series to watch if anybody's looking for a series to watch this weekend. A lot of big names. A lot of little names, actually. Maybe not Tink Hens little, but
Langoliers is pretty long, pretty big.
it's true.
There's a long name, yeah.
Yeah.
But JP Sears, that's pretty short.
It depends what JP stands for. It is short end, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So pretty good.
My final thoughts would be it's good to have what I assume are electronic instruments being plugged in all around the ballparks. I think you know where I'm going. The organ is back. It's plugged in. It's ready to play. I need to look up some clips just to get that sound in my mind, but can't wait for some.
And don't forget to
Rake.
take your
Position.
Sound Otwell. You didn't play. You left me hanging.
Right.